Right, hi guys. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
You have any doubts from last class? Okay, fine. What is continuity? Let's start from here. Have you done this chapter in school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So then tell me, what is continuity? When you can draw a graph without lifting a pen, you say the function is continuous. Graph of that function is continuous. All right. You following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you can draw without lifting a pen between 2 points, A and B, okay, then you say that the function is continuous within A and B. Like for each point in A and B, you can draw the function without lifting the pen. Okay, which means it will be continuous for each point within A and B. Now, for a point, how do you define continuity? For a point, suppose you have a point C here. How do I check if the function is continuous at the point?
So from left side and right side, as the value approaches C, the function should approach that value at C, sir.
Nice. So, as you tend towards C, you need limit extends to C plus f of x equal to right hand limit. Okay. So, basically, left hand limit should be equal to right hand limit is one part of it. So, this is C minus, this is C plus. So, you should see as it goes closer to C, it tends to the same value. This is coming to somewhere here, and this is coming to somewhere here only. Okay. As you can see that both are getting the same value, and at the same time, now is when you bring the value of the function. Okay, f of c. Okay. When these three components are equal, you will say the function is continuous at that point. Are you following? Okay. Now, if you're checking between A and B, and at the point A, how do you check if it's continuous? You just check if the RHL, right hand limit, is equal to value of the function at that point. There is no left hand limit defined for that function. Okay. Similarly, at this point, how do you find continuity at B? You find the LHL equal to value of the function at C. Okay, you don't have an RHL there. Are you following? If this is how the function is defined, you don't have an RHL. So if you're checking with it whether it's continuous between A and B, you first check at all the points in between. And you'll find that LHL equal to RHL equal to f of x. So then it's fine. It is continuous within. So it's continuous within A comma B. Now at the points A and B, is it continuous? For that, you have to check at the point A and B this condition, right? All right. But the problem is at the point A, there is no LHL. At the point B, there is no RHL. All right. So you make do it what you have. At the LHL, you check if RHL is equal to f of c. At the point B, you check if LHL is equal to f of c. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is continuity basically. Hmm. Now, hmm, yeah, check this question. Okay. Talk about the continuity of this function, mod x by x at x equal to 0. as x tends to 0, what happens to f of x?
So for 0 minus, it's -1. For 0 plus, it's +1, so it's not continuous.
For 0 plus, it's +1. For 0 minus, it's -1. So directly you can say it's not continuous. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. The idea is after the x-axis, you're getting +1. One is not included. Before the x-axis, you're getting, as in before positive x-axis, you're getting -1 here. All right. So at the point 0, you can't, it's undefined as well. But you already have enough proof to say that this is not continuous. At x equal to 0. Got it? Where h is not equal to RHS. Also know that f of a is undefined. So if f of a is undefined, that is also good enough reason for you to say that this function is not continuous. All right.
Yes, sir.
Give you another function. Okay, discuss the continuity of this function f of x.
So not continuous, sir.
Why is it not continuous?
Sir, for x plus and minus, it's +3. But at x is equal to 0, it's 0, sir.
At okay, we're looking at LHL first. LHL will be 2x plus 3 at x equal to 0, you get 3. RHL will be x square plus 3 at x equal to 0, you get 3. Now, the value of the function at that point, f of 0, will be 0. So if you're drawing a graph, what happens? At 0, you can see that, okay, LHL was 2x plus 3. So you get a straight line of slope 2. You get hitting 3 like this. Okay. So LHL is what you're concerned with. So it's this part. X less than 0, this is how it goes. Now, x square plus 3. Right? X square plus 3. For x greater than 0 will go like this. At x equal to 0, we don't know. We are guessing it will go to 3. But at 3, at x equal to 0, what happens? It's actually this point, the origin. Okay. So can you draw this graph without... Is it possible for you to draw the graph without lifting your pen?
No, sir.
No, right? You can see a discontinuity here, right? Okay, it's called a point discontinuity. LHL is equal to RHL, but this lies here. If this was changed to 3, if this point's definition alone was changed to 3, I'll get a perfectly continuous function. Are you following, guys? Okay. If I put it in instead of 0, this becomes 3. What happens is this point gets filled and you have a perfectly continuous function. This is not filled. All right?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
making sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, try this question. X square plus 1 divided by x minus 1 at x equal to 2. Okay, so how do you handle this question? What's the answer? The A part continuous.
Sir, it is continuous.
Okay, why is it the case?
It's the same function for 2 plus 2 and 2 minus.
Okay, so LHL is equal to RHL for both. As you tend towards 2, what do you do here? You simply put f of 2, see what happens. Like you're in your mind, you're just putting the value 2, see if you're getting a finite value. That's the first thing. So you get 4 plus 1 divided by 2 minus 1, which is 5. Okay. So basically, it doesn't mean f of 2 is equal to 5. It just means that LHL is equal to RHL equal to 5. All right. When you put a value close to 2, are you getting an indeterminate form is what you're checking. Okay. You found that, okay, it's not an indeterminate form. You'll find that LHL and RHL take the same value, which is 5. Now, what is f of 2? F of 2 becomes, again, same thing. 5 by 2 minus 1, which is 5 again. All right. So here you will say this is f of 2. Now, this is continuous at x equal to 2. Now, can you tell me anything about this function? Is the function continuous? I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
The function continuous.
Yes, sir. It's continuous.
Okay. Which are the points you check continuity for? And where do you check the continuity?
Three,
How do
sir.
you check the continuity? Tell me that.
So, but first, when we put x is equal to 3, we get an indeterminate form. So that we modify the function, and then we get f of x is equal to x plus 3.
Okay. All right. So I'll give the definition like this. F of x equal to x square minus 9 by x minus 3 when x is not equal to 3. Because the second you put x equal to 3 here, the denominator becomes 0. I can't really define the function. Okay, there's a problem from my end also. I can't define the function at x equal to 3. So I'll just call it like this. This is how the function is defined. Now, can you tell me about the continuity here? What about the LHL? I'll call f of x as x minus 3 into x plus 3 numerator. And denominator is nothing but x minus 3. Now, since x is not equal to 3, I can remove this. And LHL and RHL I'm trying to find for x tending to 3. All right. What will happen? I'll get 6 here. My RHL will also become 6 here. Okay. So I have LHL equal to RHL. So is it continuous at the point x equal to 3?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Only if it is equal to value of the function at that point, then only will it be defined. Okay. But LHL, RHL, both are 6. That is fine. Both are the same. But is it equal to the value of the function at that point? Look, the graph will be like this, x minus 3. Okay, so this is the point 6. It will go like this. Okay, the graph will go like this. At this point, at x equal to 3. Okay, let this be the point. At x equal to 3, what happens? At x equal to 3, this won't be defined. Okay, there will be no numerator. Numerator becomes 0. Denominator becomes 0. The function won't be defined. The limit will be defined. Okay, please understand the difference now. Okay, the limit will be defined. You see that it's tending towards 6 from this side. You see that it's tending towards 6 from this side. Okay, the limit being equal to 6 is defined. Okay, all right, but the value of the function at that point is not defined. So immediately you see that it's not continuous. Okay, because as you draw the graph like this, I'll have to lift my pen here and then continue from here. All right, following? Are you
So,
understanding what happened here? Yeah, ask.
so even if we modify the function, the value of f of x will not change.
You modify the function to find the value of the limit, not the value of the function at that point. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, the function remains as it is only. When you put a value into it, you're finding the value of the function at that point. And once that is not defined, it can't be defined. Okay. But the limit can be defined. That's why we have an indeterminate form and we try to remove it and see, okay, where does it tend to? That's why we say the value of the limit is different from the value of the function at that point. Okay. You getting this,
Yes,
guys?
sir.
Right.
Yeah, got it, sir.
So, yeah, next question we'll try. Suppose if the function was defined, okay, f of x had this definition, and along with that, I wrote that this is equal to 6 when x is equal to 3. Then what will happen? This will be continuous. Okay. If I put it as 7 when x is equal to 3, if that is how the function is defined, then it will be discontinuous. Okay. Are you following, guys?
Yes, sir.
It depends on the definition of the function. Okay, continuity. Right? Okay. Now, okay. It will be a good revision of yesterday's class also. X. Okay, here's your function definition. As you can see, when x is less than 1, you have an algebraic function, x minus 1, x square minus 1 by x minus 1. All right. And whenever you put a value lesser than 1, this quantity will always be defined, x square minus 1 by x plus 1. So you know it is continuous for x less than 1 range. Okay. Now x greater than 1 also you have ln of x e, which I can write as ln of x plus ln of v. And you know that ln of v is already 1. Okay. Divide by 1 by x square minus 1. All right. So is there any problem here? When I put x greater than 1, there seems to be no problem. Ln x can accept those values. 1 by x square minus 1 will not become 0 for any value of x greater than 1. All right. So this will also be defined. It will also be continuous for x greater than 1. Our only doubt is the point x equal to 1. Okay. Is the right hand limit, left hand limit, and the value of the function at that point the same thing? So first you check if the limit exists. Okay. If the limit exists, then it can be continuous. You have to check. Now only thing you need to check is what happens at x equal to 1. So first thing you're basically checking is does the limit exist? Your question. All right, can you tell me about the LHL?
LHL is 2, sir.
Yeah, that's right. I hope all of you got LHL equal to 2. Okay. The value of the function at that point, f of 1, is also equal to 2. Now, I'm basically checking first if the limit exists. So I'm looking at the RHL next. RHL is 1 plus ln x, 1 par x square minus 1. Limit x tends to a value little greater than 1. Right? So, what happens here? I know if I have 1 plus f of x raised to g of x, what do you do there? E par limit x tends to 1, f of x into g of x, which is ln x into g of x into 1 by x square minus 1. All right, this is what you get. Okay, as RHL. Now, what do you get here? E power 0 by 0 when you put x tends to 1. Now, 0 by 0 is indeterminate. We need to convert it into another form. All right. For that, what I'll do is I'll simply use L'Hopital rule. L'Hopital rule says what? Differentiate the numerator. What do you get? Ln x becomes 1 by x. Differentiate the denominator. What do you get there? X square minus 1 becomes 2x. So then this becomes e power 1 by 2x square limit x tends to 1. Now if I put value here, I get e power 1 by 2, which is absolutely permissible. So I get root e as my answer. Okay. So LHL is not equal to RHL. The limit does not exist. Directly, you can say that this function is discontinuous. All right. Okay, so here's a bit of a note for you to take. Discontinuity will have three factors. Okay, three reasons. One is the limit does not exist. Okay, so basically LHL not equal to RHL. Okay. Second, limit exists, value of the function exists, but they are not equal. All right. Limit exists, function exists at that point, but they are not equal, means they are discontinuous. Third reason can be, what can the third reason be? That the value of the function at that point does not exist. The function is not defined at that point. Okay. That was the first case we checked actually. All right. You guys get this? These are the reasons for discontinuity.
Could you scroll up a little bit, sir? So the previous question.
I'm sorry, I can't follow you. What did you say?
So could you scroll up a little bit?
Scroll up. Yeah, sure. This question, huh?
Yeah, a little bit down.
You wrote the question down, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. Tell me if you want to scroll up more.
Done, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so okay. Now I'll just draw one function. Tell me at which all points it discontinues. Okay. Between 2 and 12, at how many points is this graph discontinuous?
So 2 points.
Hmm?
2 points.
What are the 2 points?
7 and 12.
At 7, it's discontinuous. At 12, it's discontinuous. Okay, why is it discontinuous at 12?
Because there's another point below it.
Yeah, basically, left-hand limit is not equal to right-hand limit, right? That's what he meant. This is tending towards this value, left-hand limit. Right-hand limit is tending towards this bigger value, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that should be the logic, okay? Left-hand limit is not equal to right-hand limit. So, this is happening. Then, at 12, what is the problem? At 12, what is the issue? Why is it discontinuous? You're right, it's discontinuous there. But why? Now,
So
at
again,
12,
the
there is no
limits are not
RHL,
equal.
okay? The function is not defined that way. So, LHL is not equal to the value of the function at the point 12, okay? The value of the function at that point is this circle here. The other one, okay, the LHL is pointing towards this value here. Are you following this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the point 10, is it continuous?
Yes, sir. It's continuous.
Okay, so the LHL goes towards this value, RHL goes towards this value. The function takes this value at that point as well. Okay, so it's perfectly continuous. Now, at the point 9,
Discontinuous.
LHL, is it equal to RHL?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What's the problem here?
It's not
Not
equal to
equal
f
to
of
the value of
9.
the function at the point 9. Okay, it's coming here. All right, can you see it? All of you. Okay, the value of the function is there on top. Okay, but it's not towards the same value of the limit. So you say at the point 9, it is discontinuous. What about the point 4?
Discontinuous.
Why LHL is equal to RHL? That is fine. But f of 4 is not defined. Okay. Alright, guys, f of 4 is not defined. So directly you'll say that there is a problem here. Now, at the point 2,
Discontinuous.
why is it discontinuous?
LHL is not equal to RHL.
LHL not equal to RHL, or you can say directly LHL, it is going towards infinity. You can say the limit does not exist. All right, that is good enough reason. Okay, you can directly say limit does not exist. If you see one thing go towards infinity, you know that when you're going towards infinity means you're not crossing that value of x. You're simply going above on the y-axis. Right? You won't have time to remove your hand and draw. Okay. So you can directly say it's discontinuous there. All right. Are you all following? Did you guys get this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, I'll ask you a question. Y is equal to tan x. Where is this discontinuous? Or is it a continuous graph?
Pi by 2, sir.
Odd multiples
Yeah.
of pi by 2.
Odd multiples of pi by 2.
Odd multiples of pi by 2, you will get tan x as discontinuous. Got this? Okay. Right. At odd multiples of pi by 2, where n is any integer. Okay. You will get this as discontinuous. So, but then I've told you that y is equal to tan x is continuous before. It is continuous in its domain. Okay. And the domain does not have odd multiples of pi by 2. That's why. Okay. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At odd multiples of pi by 2 is when tan x behaves weird. You get plus or minus infinity. So just make sure those points are removed and then you have a continuous domain. Like in its domain, it will be continuous inside the domain. Okay. So between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2, it will go like this. Okay. Between pi by 5/2 and 3/2 will go like this. So between, like, within its domain, it will be continuous. That's the idea. I hope you guys followed. Right. Okay. So notes here. Sin x, cos x, power x, a power x, x, inverse x, not inverse x. Any polynomial function oddth root of x. Right. These are all continuous for any real number. Okay. Guys, remember this? Sin x, cos x, e power x, a power x, all of these are continuous for any real number. Now, sin inverse x, cos inverse x, ln x, or log x to the base a, whatever it is, are continuous graph only in their domain. Okay. Only wherever it is defined, this will be continuous. Otherwise, it's discontinuous. As in, there's nothing there. All right. Note this down quickly.
Previous go a little bit up. Little bit.
Okay, sorry, come again.
Previous go a little bit up. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
In a second.
Okay, I've given a few functions here. Right. Tell me where they are discontinuous. Tan x and sec x, where will they be discontinuous? Tan x is sin x by cos x, sec x is 1 by cos x. Basically, whenever cos x becomes 0, tan x and sec x become discontinuous. All right. When does cos x become 0? We just discussed it right now. Odd multiples of 5/2. Okay. All right. What about cot x and cosec x? When will that be discontinuous?
N pi.
N pi. Very good. All right. Now, gif of x and fractional part of x. Gif of x and fractional part of x. When will they be continuous? When x is any integer. All right. Remember the graph of fractional part of x? It goes like this. Does it look continuous? Guys, does it look continuous?
No.
No.
Sir.
No,
No,
sir.
it's not. All right. So at any integer point, it will be discontinuous. Okay. What about gif of x? Does this look continuous?
No,
No,
sir.
right? Where will this be breaking? At all the integral points. Okay, I hope you're following. That's why you get this. Now, signum of x, when will this be discontinuous? What is signum x? Yes, check your notebook if you don't remember. What is signum x? Just Google it right now, you'll get it.
When x is greater than 0, it's 1.
Yep.
And
When x
next,
is greater than 0, it's 1.
x
Okay.
is equal to 0, it's 0.
X is equal to
And
0,
x
it's
is less
0.
than 0, it's minus
Less than 0, it's minus 1. Okay. So does this graph look continuous to you guys? No, right? So where is it discontinuous? At x equal to 0. All right. You guys, are you following?
1. Yes, sir.
Now look at 1 by x and 1 by x raised to m. 1 by x raised to anything basically. When will that be discontinuous? Again, at x equal to 0, it will be discontinuous. It won't be defined there. Okay. All right. So one more thing I want you to note is that continuous plus or minus continuous function is also a continuous function. Continuous into continuous function is a continuous function. Continuous divided by continuous function is a continuous function as long as denominator is not equal to 0. All right. So note that down as well. Okay. Next thing I want you to notice. Did you note all that down? Continuous plus or minus continuous is continuous. Continuous into continuous is also continuous. Continuous divided by continuous is continuous as long as the denominator is not equal to 0. Next, you have continuous plus or minus discontinuous. What will happen to that? You have continuous function plus or minus discontinuous function. What happens to that?
Discontinuous.
Will be discontinuous. Yes, exactly. All right. For sure, it will be discontinuous. Okay. So, suppose you have a continuous function. Okay. And then you have a discontinuous function. Discontinuous function, let it be like this. Okay. So, will this be continuous? When you add both these functions up, what happens? You get a graph something like this. So, this plus this will be somewhere here. Both are increasing. Okay. The problem is, till here, you can add this function. From here onwards, this becomes a function. So this value reduces. This minus this it becomes. So somewhere here it will start. Then you go like this. Okay. So is the sum continuous or discontinuous? It's definitely discontinuous here. Okay. Are you following? Right. Now, discontinuous plus or minus discontinuous. Will that be continuous or discontinuous? Discontinuous function plus or minus discontinuous function. Will it be continuous or discontinuous? That nothing can be said. Okay. That's the fact. Nothing can be said till we investigate. Suppose I have a function like this, one discontinuous function as, okay, let this be f of x, this be LHL, and this be RHL. Okay. So suppose f of x was 3, LHL was 4, and RHL was 4. Okay. This is a discontinuous function at that point. Now, at that same point, suppose this one, f of x was 5, and LHL and RHL were 4. What happened here? What happened to the sum?
It will become
The
continuous.
sums LHL will tend towards 4 plus 4, which is 8. The difference is LHL, RHL will, sorry, the sums RHL will tend towards 4 plus 4, which is 8. Okay. And the value of the function, all right, the sum of that will tend towards 5 plus 3, which is 8. So basically, you're ending up with a continuous function. Okay. In this case. In other cases, you can put any value here, right, for LHL and RHL. They should be discontinuous. That's the only condition. Okay. So there is a possibility that they can be a continuous function. That's the idea. I was expecting you guys to say discontinuous function. Right. You guys said continuous function. I was just taken aback. Okay. So the idea was you're expecting a discontinuous function, but you can get a continuous function in some cases. All right. So you can't really say that it's continuous or discontinuous just because you're adding two discontinuous functions. Got this? All right. Guys, are you following or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please respond. Right. All right. So same for continuous into discontinuous, continuous divided by discontinuous. So nothing really can be said. You'll have to find out more. Right. Oh. Check continuity for all integral values. Okay, check the continuity for all integral values. Otherwise, you know it's continuous.
Sir, is it discontinuous?
This is discontinuous. Why do you say that?
Because fractional part of x is discontinuous at integral points.
Exactly. The LHL here will be 0. No, sorry. LHL will be 1 and the RHL, any integral value, will be 0. Okay. So LHL is directly not equal to RHL. You have that this is discontinuous. Now continuous into discontinuous. What can you say? Nothing can be said. You'll have to find out more. Okay. All right. So what happens here? At an integer, what will happen? This will take the value. What is the fractional part becoming? It becomes 0 at the integral point. Okay. But LHL not equal to RHL, not equal to, okay, it is equal to 0. Now x can take the integer value. Okay, so suppose it becomes the integer I itself. Now it's multiplied by 1 to get the LHL, it's multiplied by 0 to get the RHL, and it's multiplied by 0 to get the value of the function. And you can see that all are not equal. Okay. Right. If they were equal, then they could have been continuous, but they are not equal. So for sure, you can say that they are discontinuous. Got that? Are you following or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, f of x is equal to sin x into secant x. Fine, discuss the continuity. At x equal to 0. At x equal to 0, what about its continuity? So secant x is a discontinuous function. The value of the function at that point will be 0. The LHL will tend towards -1. The RHL will tend towards 1 here, right? Guys, are you getting the same thing here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So around x tends to 0, the point is sin x will tend to 0. Okay. All right. At around x tends to 0, you'll get sin x tending to 0. Basically, that is what you multiply with either 0, -1, or 1. So whatever you multiply with, you will end up with 0. That is the only reason. Okay, this is continuous. Because sin x at x equal to 0, around x equal to 0 will tend to 0. That's the idea. Okay. Are you getting this, guys?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Check if you're not getting it, please ask. Here's a question. Guys, have your exam started? School exams?
Starting next month, sir.
Starting next month. Okay. So, have you had an exam till now?
We've had two, sir.
You had 2 exams. Okay, okay, okay. How were they? How were they?
It was fine, sir. Both were 35, although they wanted to keep the term paper like 80 marks, term one paper like they always have one test at the beginning is for 35, 40 marks maths and then 80 at the end of the term. But because of this online thing, they kept both for 40 marks for maths.
Okay, okay, okay. They made it into 2 papers basically. 80-mark paper.
So we had one
Yeah,
80-mark
no,
paper, sir.
Okay, all right. But how was the exam? How was the exam? Like, were you able to solve it? Like,
So pretty easy only,
uh,
sir.
easy, sir. Only in the NCRT question.
Yes, sir. NCRT, mostly examples unna, sir, vandu.
okay, okay, okay. Only examples came, huh? Okay, then peaceful. All right. Anyone faced any trouble with those problems?
No, sir. Not really. Not, I didn't.
Okay, so what I want you to do is after an exam, right? Hmm, you guys have a tendency of discussing with each other. How was the paper? Was this question easy? I got 5, and then one guy will be like, "No, I got X. That is my answer. What do I do now?" So please don't discuss after an exam like that. All right, don't do that. What I want you to do is try to solve it again in a much calmer position. All right, are you following? So you write an exam for like 3 hours, hmm, and that's it. You want to forget about it. That's what your brain will tell you. That's what my brain has been telling me also. Okay, like now you gave the exam, you did all the hard work, now forget about it. Hmm. Not like that. All right. Give the exam the respect it deserves. In the sense that the problems where you had trouble, okay, just try solving them again. Like without learning anything new. All right, solving them again just once. Just see how you're able to solve it if you are just calm. In an exam, there is one heated situation, okay, there is pressure. Hmm. First thing I want you to realize is that yourself solving when you're in a pressure cooker situation and when you're not is very different. Right. So when you're solving, you look for shortcuts, you look for approaches, which means you will try to go for approaches that are not very familiar to you. All right. So because of that, you might feel confused. You might miss on a few things. Okay. So solve the same paper, at least the tough questions. That won't take much time. Okay. So solve those questions calmly. Are you following? After an exam, rather than discussing it with your friends, which I feel is just absolutely pointless. Hmm. Okay, it's a nice feeling if you don't know the answer, someone is telling you the answer, okay, this is what it is. But first, I would suggest give it an honest chance. Okay, give the paper an honest chance. All right, see like how much you actually don't know and be ready to accept that, okay, I don't know this, I don't know that, it's fine. Because nobody knows anything when they start. Right, everybody starts from zero. People show interest and then keep practicing more and become better. But you get my point, right? Don't discuss before, like after the exam. There's no point. What you can do is solve it quickly and then find a person who is solving and then discuss with that person. Or go to your teacher later with a more solid doubt. Okay. You following, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So please avoid discussion and all after the exam. It's for you to chill. But if you're chilling, just make sure you just solve it once more. The tough problems. Okay. That's enough. There's no point in discussing exams, at least in my head. Right. Now, okay, we have a function here. Find the continuity of this function at x equal to 0. Find the continuity of this function at x tending to 0.
So the function does not exist at x is equal to 0. It's undefined.
It's defined here. X equal to 0 is x squared plus 1. So it becomes 1 at x equal to 0.
No, so the LHL and RHL, it tends to infinity.
LHL and RHL is a good word. Okay. LHL, RHL will be what? Both will be what? Sin x into 1 by x. Limit x tends to 0. Plus will be RHL. Minus will be LHL. Right? And what is sin x into 1 by x? Nothing but sin x by x. You already know that this limit will be equal to 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Forgot, no problem. It's not an issue. Okay. So when you see sin x by x, you didn't see it as sin x by x. That's the issue. Okay, it's not a big deal. Right now, you can't unsee it, I'm sure. So you have sin x by x here. Okay, this will be equal to 1. All right. So you say the limit exists. LHL is equal to RHL is equal to 1. Now, is that the value of the function at the point I'm interested in? That's the question. F of 0 is coming out to 0 plus 1, which is 1. So this is equal to 1. So yes, it is continuous at the point 0. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Right. So yeah, let's try again. Another question. Of x.
Sir, Siddharth had a power cut, so he left the meeting, sir. He said he'll join when he
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Thanks for informing. Okay, so we have this question here. Check if this function is continuous or not. What do you do first? Check if the limit exists. Okay. LHL will be. So here I just see 1 by x as the problem. Okay. 1 by x and minus 1 by x is there. So when I put x equal to 0, there'll be an issue here. Okay, as simple as that. So x tends to 0 minus will be LHL. So this is a function here. Right? Because you're not putting the value 0. You're putting the value 0 minus. So this function will be defined. So it will be 3 power 1 by x minus 3 power minus 1 by x. So that will become, okay, I'll just put it that way. Okay, so what are you getting here? When I put x tends to a small negative value, I get 3 power minus infinity minus 3 power infinity divided by 3 power minus infinity minus 3 power 1, 3 power infinity. Something like that is what I get, right? Plus. Right? What happens here? 3 power minus infinity is 1 by 3 power infinity is 1 by infinity roughly. Like a huge infinite value, which becomes 0. Right? So these values are all 0. So we get minus huge infinite value divided by plus huge infinite value. But this is not infinity as such. This is 3 raised to a huge positive value. 3 raised to huge positive value, which will be nothing but a huge positive value. Plus is on the numerator, minus in the denominator. So this comes out to minus 1. So the left hand limit will be x tends to 0 plus 3 power 1 by x minus 3 power minus 1 by x by 3 power 1 by x plus 3 power minus 1 by x, which will become 3 power 1 by infinity minus 3 power minus infinity by 3 power infinity minus 3 power minus infinity. Now 3 power minus infinity we learned would be 1 by 3 power infinity, which will tend to 0. Okay, this will go off. And then I'll get 1 as my RHL. LHL is minus 1, RHL is 1. Limit does not exist, it cannot be continuous. Got this? Guys, wake up. Can you please respond? If you got this or not?
Yes, sir.
You need another explanation?
I got it. I got it.
Got it, huh? What about the rest of you?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, Shri, tell me.
but then you said infinity can be any value. It can take different values. So we
Yes, yes,
cannot.
yes. No, no, no. This is not 3 power infinity. This is 3 power huge value that tends to infinity. Okay, it's not infinity I'm putting there. All right. I'm treating this as a huge value that tends to infinity. Okay. What is the huge value that tends to infinity? 1 by 0 plus. Okay, 1 by a value greater than 0. Okay. I'm calling it as a value tending towards infinity. All right. It's 1 by 0 plus that I'm dealing with here in those infinities. Does that make it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sanjana, you've been very quiet throughout the whole thing. You are not speaking at all. Is everything fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you solving the questions there?
Yes, sir.
I don't get to know. That's why I'm asking. All right. Yeah. So please respond at least. Okay. Now, or look. So, yeah. See at me, I think I got your doubt. Okay. So, what you were asking is, how can I divide this infinity by infinity, right?
Yes, sir. And that how can they cancel each other? Then
Okay. So, I think my explanation is not perfect. Right? So, the better explanation would be 3 power minus infinity is tending towards 0. 3 power infinity I saw is tending towards infinity. Okay. So, right now I have infinity by infinity form. Right? Basically, in this limit, I have infinity by infinity form. Okay.
yes.
So, in that form, what will I do? How do I normally solve? I'll take the largest infinity out and cancel it out, right? So I see the largest infinity is 3 power minus infinity minus 1 by x. Okay. So I take 3 power minus 1 by x common outside. Okay, so now what am I left with? 3 power 2 by x minus 1. And then 3 power minus 1 by x I'll take here. 3 power 2 by x plus 1. Okay. So 3 power minus 1 by x, 3 power minus 1 by x, I will cancel out. You know it is going towards a huge positive value. Alright, 3 power minus 1 by x. But I'm cancelling it out because it is not exactly infinity. Okay, x is not exactly 0 here. X is a value little lesser than 0. So that is why I'm cancelling them out. And then I put x tends to 0 here. What happens to this? 3 power 2x, 2 by x becomes 3 power minus infinity, which is 0. Okay, which is tending towards 0, not 0, tending towards 0. The value you're guessing for the limit. All right, so that cancels out, that cancels out. You get minus 1 by 1, which is minus 1. Similarly, that's how you do for RHL. You take 3 power 1 by x out common. Okay, 3 power 1 by x here is 3 power infinity here. Okay, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Right, so this is how you solve it. I hope this is a better explanation than the last one.
Yeah,
Oh.
yes, sir.
So yeah, now the question. Okay. Where? Okay. Check if the function is continuous or discontinuous. If it is discontinuous, at what all points are it discontinuous? All right. First, you check discontinuity wherever the definition of the function is changing, and that is at x equal to 4. All right. That's the clue I'm giving you. Definition of the function is changing at x equal to 4. So just check there first. Right. This is what f of x is equal to. With 2 minus cos pi x is positive. All right, the denominator is positive. Okay, we're looking at the RHL at x equal to 4. Then I'm checking first. The RHL is defined by this function here. All right. So RHL is limit x tends to 4 plus. This will be the definition. Sine of x square. Wait. 2 minus cos x. 2 minus cos of anything will be positive. Cos is between -1 and 1. Okay. So denominator is greater than 0. The numerator is tending to 0. Sine of 4 pi. Okay. So you get RHL as something that is equal to 0. Now, the LHL, what is the value of the LHL? Is x sine of x by 2. 16 plus 4 plus 1, which is 21. Okay. X squared plus x plus 1 it is. X is to 4 minus. The idea is the fractional part of x. Fractional part of 3.99999 will tend to 1. Sine of 4 pi by 2, sine of 2 pi will tend to 0. And the denominator tends to 4 plus 16 plus 1, which is 21. Okay. So you can see that the whole thing tends to 0. Now we can say that the limit exists. What about the value of the function at that point? You put x equal to 4 here. All right. X equal to 4 comes here. You put 4 here. Exactly 4. So fractional part of 4 is 0. This becomes sine 2 pi, which is exactly 0. And this becomes 21. Value of the function, f of 4, becomes 0 by 21. Sorry. All these are equal. So I say that at x equal to 4, it is continuous. All right. Now, what about the function? Is it continuous? Can you say the function is continuous? Guys, can you speak loudly? I can't hear you at all. That's right.
So can you repeat the question?
Repeat the question. The question was to find if this function is continuous or not.
No, so now you
The
asked.
function is defined from 0 to 4 and 4 above. Yeah, what did you say?
So now you asked one thing.
Okay. The question was, it is continuous at 4. We proved it. All right. Okay. This function at x equal to 4 is continuous. My question is, does that make this function continuous throughout?
Not necessarily, sir.
Why?
Because it could be discontinuous at other points also.
What
We
other
only
points?
checked it for 4.
Yeah. In both the definitions of the function, denominator cannot be equal to 0. All right. X squared plus x plus 1 is a quadratic with like no roots. Discriminant will be less than 0. Okay, b square minus 4ac. Now, in the other one, it's 2 minus cos pi x. Right? So that will also never become 0. So denominators can't be 0 here. Numerators also look fine. Can it be discontinuous anywhere else? Look at the second part of the definition of the function. Okay, sine pi x squared by 2 minus sine cos pi x. Okay, so in that, over you have sine pi x squared. All right, and sine pi x squared is continuous. 2 minus cos pi x is also continuous. You're dividing continuous by continuous, so you will get a continuous function there. All right. So you should know that when x is greater than 4, you have a continuous function. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, sorry.
I understood how.
Okay. All of you understood this. Rest of you, did you guys understand this? Yes, Aditi is the only one responding.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right now. No, Aditi doesn't mean you go on mute. Okay. Now, look at the first part of the function. All right. The first part, again, is it continuous by continuous form? Like the denominator is continuous for sure. It's x squared plus x plus 1, which is a quadratic. And you know any polynomial is continuous. Okay. Now there's a sine pi x by 2, which is also continuous. The fractional part of x is not continuous. Okay. Guys, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The fractional part of x is not continuous. So because of that, we have to be careful at the points where the fractional part of x is discontinuous. Where is that discontinuous? Between 0 and 4, fractional part of x will be discontinuous at 0 itself, at 1, 2, 3, and at 4. Okay. 4 we already checked, right? So we are not checking. The remaining 4 points, 0, 1, 2, 3, we'll start checking now. Got this, guys? Okay. So start now. Start checking at 0, at 1, 2, and 3. We write the function down. Fractional part x sine pi by 2x 2 divided by x squared plus x plus 1 and something else when x less than. Okay. At x equal to 0, what happens? What can you say about the LHL? F of 0 will be 0. Okay, you put the value 0 here, fraction part of x is 0, sine of 0 is 0. All right, divide by a non-zero quantity, which is 1. Okay, you will get 0 perfectly. Now the right hand limit, what will that be? Will be a value little greater than 0. Fractional part of a value greater than 0 will be a value little greater than 0. That's it. Into sine of a value greater than 0 divided by 0 plus 0 plus 1. Okay, this also comes out to 0. I hope you can see this clearly. Okay, the RHL here. All right. What about the LHL? It's not defined here. Okay, when x is less than 0, nothing is told to me how the function will behave. Okay, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I am not even looking at this. This is my leftmost point I'm looking at. Okay, so that's why I'm not even interested in the RHL. This is for x equal to 0. I hope you're getting this. All right. Now at x equal to 1, how does it behave? That's the next integral point. So here LHL will be there. Okay. The fractional part of x becomes 1. Sin pi x by 2 becomes sin pi by 2. So limit is to 1 minus. Okay. Next, x squared plus x plus 1 becomes 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3. So I get 1 by 3 here. All right. Now my right hand limit, RHL, is limit x tends to 1 plus. So here what happens? The fractional part of 1 plus becomes something close to 0. Now this becomes sine close to pi by 2 divided by 3 again, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Right, so this comes out to 0. So from here itself, you can say that it is discontinuous at x equal to 1. Okay, at x equal to 2, x equal to 3. Find out and tell me what happens. Please come on, solve first. So remember, okay, there's this part is sine by x by 2 part and an x square plus x plus 1 part. Okay, so the LHL for both these cases, all right, the first part, the fractional part of x part. Okay, when I put x tends to 2, so I put 2 minus here, right? A value less than 2. So both the fractional parts will tend to 1. It's a little lesser than the fraction, like the integer itself. Okay, into sine x by 2 into sine 3 pi by 2, little lesser than that. Okay. Divided by 4 plus 2 plus 1 divided by 9 plus 3 plus 1. And look at the RHL. RHL again, for both, it will start with 0 in the numerator. Okay, denominator x squared plus x plus 1, you know it will be greater than 0 for sure, whatever value of x you put. And then sign of anything, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, because the RHL value will come out to 0. Did you understand this little shortcut here? How I solve for both at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, look at it carefully and then ask doubts. Right? If you're not understanding, it's okay. I'll explain it again. Okay, my LHL here, sine 3 pi by 2 is nothing but minus 1. And 9 plus 3 plus 1 is nothing but 13. Minus 1 by 13 is LHL here, and 0 is RHL here. So it is discontinuous at x equal to 3. Okay, and x equal to 1. We proved it. Okay, at x equal to 1, and discontinuous at x equal to 3. At x equal to 2, what happens? Sine pi happens to be 0. So you can equate both of them, you will get 0. You get this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have any doubts regarding the previous classes?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right. Then we'll move to our next. Previous classes in the sense, previous whatever topics I've covered today has included. Okay. So next is intermediate value theorem, but I won't be teaching you the whole thing, or will I? We'll find out. We'll find out. Okay. So you have some function going like this, some crazy looking function here. It let this be the point A, this be the point B. You can see from the graph that it is continuous between A and B. All right. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. So this point will be f of A. This point will be f of B. This will be the point A, this will be the point B. F of A, this will be f of B. Now, the idea is let f be a continuous function, right? Let f be continuous in continuous function in A comma B. All right. Then there exists, this symbol is for there exists a number C. Okay. There exists a number C between A and B. Okay. There exists a number C between A and B such that f of C is equal to f of A plus f of B by 2. Okay. There will be a value C, okay, such that f of C will be f of A plus f of B by 2. The idea is nothing but, okay, so you're saying there are 2 points A and B between which you have a function that is continuous. So it can go like this, it can go like this straight line, it can go like this underneath, it can go like a sine wave also. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as it is continuous. That's the only condition. Okay, guys? Are you getting this? All right. The only condition is that f should be continuous between A and B. Now, what are they saying here? That there will be a value. Okay. C somewhere between A and B. Okay. C is somewhere between A and B. You can shift anywhere and anywhere between A and B, such that it will take the value f of A plus f of B by 2. What is f of A plus f of B by 2? It is a midpoint between f of B and f of A, these 2 points, right? Okay, it'll be the midpoint here. Now, what are they basically saying? To connect from point A to point B, I always have to cross this middle point, intermediate point. Are you following? Like if I have to connect to point A to point B, if I have to draw from A to B without lifting my pen, I have to cross the midpoint. That is the idea. Are you guys following this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, it will have to go to f of A plus f of B by 3 also. Alright, if it's between f of A and f of B. Okay. That's the idea here being spoken about. Got this? So even if it's a straight line in the sense it's a constant value, like f of A is equal to f of B. Okay. Alright. So this is the value A, this is the value B, and f of A is equal to f of B. What about f of A plus f of B by 2? It should be lying on the same line, right? It's f of A or f of B itself again. Are you getting this? If f of A is equal to f of B, you'll get a straight line here. Okay, not a straight line, you'll get a line parallel to the x-axis. Okay, constant line there. Okay, so that one's midpoint is on that line itself. Okay, are you following, guys?
Got it, sir.
Right, so the intermediate value will always be crossed. That's the idea of this. Right. That's all they were saying. Okay, there will be some C in between A and B such that the middle value is crossed. That is the point C. It might cross twice, it might cross thrice, but there will be at least one point C in between A and B. That's the idea. Okay, guys, got this? I hope this was clear. Right.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you wrote the notes properly for this. Now, tell me, so it's called IMVT, okay? Intermediate value theorem. Intermediate mean value theorem, sorry. All right. Now, the question is, in A comma B, IMVT is applicable, true or false? All right, I'll give you a few graphs. This is A. Okay, this will be A. This will be B. There you go. The second part is again, these lines are the points A and B, okay? Okay. In the first part, is IMVT applicable? Is in the first part, is this mean value theorem applicable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then in the second part, is the mean value theorem applicable?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why no?
At f of A, it's discontinuous. Sir.
Lovely, lovely, correct. Guys, all of you got this?
Yes, sir.
All right, now the C part, third part, what is happening?
We can't apply it, sir. It's not continuous between A.
We can't apply because it's not continuous at a point in between A and B. It should be continuous throughout A and B. Okay. Now the fourth point.
We can apply it, sir.
We can apply because
between A and B, it's continuous.
Between A and B is where we are looking. Okay. Correct. Absolutely. All right. Okay. So it is continuous between A and B. It's absolutely fine. Okay, guys, got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now for this function, right? Notice that if you have 2 points, f of x is continuous between A and B. Right. So suppose it goes something like this. Okay, it will have a maximum value of m and a minimum value of small m. Okay, so you can say that the range of f between A and B, okay, f of x, range where x is between A and B will be between m and capital M. Okay, just understand that. All right. So if it's continuous, the idea is that between m and capital M, like all values between m and capital M will be touched by f because it is continuous. There's no jump in between. Okay. Just understand this as well. This is the last thing I'm asking you to remember. All right. Like today. You understand this? If it has a maximum value of capital M, minimum value of small m, all values between that will be touched. Okay, if it is a continuous function. All right. Because it's continuous, you have to go from small m to capital M or vice versa using that same pen without lifting it. Right? Think like that. Okay. Guys, did you get this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's the end of today's class. I will see you in the next class. What I want you to do before next class is go through NCRT. Okay. Finish off continuity and differentiability in one go, please. It won't take much time. Okay. Differentiability
Okay.
I'll do next class actually. But continuity, please finish it off. It won't take much time. And please revise the previous chapters. Okay. Functions,
Okay, sir.
trigonometry, functions especially I want you to revise. Okay. Be good with it first. All right. And then come back for next class. Let's try to do as much of calculus as possible. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
If you have any doubts, please ask.
Sir, for
Yeah.
this chapter, graph questions will only come now, sir.
No. They can ask you questions without graph. Like they can ask you complicated questions where you can't find the graph that easily. They can ask you complicated questions where the limit has to be found. It's basically about limit and the value of the function, right? End of the day. This
Yes,
chapter.
sir.
Okay. So they're complicated, where it's very tough to find the limit, they can ask a question. Or a function that looks so complicated, but it might be a little easy finding the limit. Like such kind of questions can be asked. So they can test your knowledge of limits on this also, not just graphs.
Okay.
If you
Yes,
draw
sir.
a graph for everything, you're sorted.
Okay, sir.
But that's generally not the case. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, see you, Vachan. Take care, man.
Thank you, sir.
Aditi.
You-
All right.